we got there. We had Misha Serkinov and Phil Davis were there representing their newly filed cases, although this hearing was about a bunch of the stuff involving Johnson v. Zuffa. The big discussion is what to do with the Serkinov case, what to do with the arbitration agreements. It went back and forth. It sounds like what they're going to do is possibly put the Serkinov case back in Johnson, go with discovery about the UFC's treatment of the arbitration agreements, how they got fighters to sign them, because the plaintiffs are arguing that it's a violation of Nevada law because it breaks they're unconscionable on both parts of the unconscionable ruling in Nevada, and they need discovery to prove that. That might be hard to prove, but that's what they're going to go after. And so Serkinov might be back in the Johnson case. And then after they get the arbitration discovery sorted out, the judge might order a split, make a subclass, have the plaintiffs file an intervention, make a subclass, and move Serkinov off. But they also just might continue with this separate Serkinov case right now. So they left a lot up in the air, but that seems to be the plan right now, is to go forward, roll it back into Johnson, order discovery. The other big thing is all the cases are going to have discovery together. And that for Davis, the UFC's lawyers did say that they plan to file a motion to dismiss the case because they claim that the Davis fighters do not have standing. One thing was not raised, and no one seemed to have a problem with, is that Davis was part of the Lee class. And the Lee class, when they settled, part of the ruling of the Lee class was that they, one of the rulings when they settled the Lee class was fighters that are part of the Lee class that they cannot make claims against the UFC any further. They're releasing claims. In other words, you can't sue the UFC except for the one exception the judge carved out was the Johnson class. If you're a member of the Johnson class, Johnson v. Zuffa, fighters that fought in the UFC between 2017 and 2020 till now, then you still had standing. And Phil Davis fought in the UFC before 2017, settled, got some, I'm sure he's going to get damages from the Lee class, so he has no case there, apparently, but that was not brought up. And so I guess the impression I got is everybody seems to assume that the judge, when he gave in the court earlier, basically gave his verbal commitment that there's going to be a carve out for other fighters, because these are some of the things he asked for. He asked to go after injunctive relief. He asked to seek greater damages for the Johnson class, and he asked to go after the arbitration agreement. So he would not stand in the way that basically Davis is, for all purposes, kind of a member of the Johnson class. So on that part, he can't be denied. But they're filing a motion of dismiss because they're claiming none of the fighters, Davis or the fighters he proposes to represent, have standing. So they're going to go after that. The other problem with the Serkinov case, I forgot to mention, was that because there's a statute of limitations when you file a complaint, that there's a 4-year statute of limitations. So Serkinov, they had originally issued a request that the judge make Serkinov a separate case. Now the plaintiffs are asking the judge to throw out that order because there is a problem, is that they were hoping that the defense, Zuffa, would agree to let Serkinov and that case be from 2017 on. In other words, because there's a 4-year statute of limitations when they filed Misha Serkinov's case, it starts up in 2021, but Johnson case, the current case, starts in 2017. So fighters that have these arbitration agreements that would be part of the Serkinov case would lose 4 years of the fights they did during that period to be suing the UFC. And so they were actually asking Zuffa to let the case start in 2017. The UFC attorneys hadn't made up their mind yet. And so that's why possibly Serkinov also might be pushed back or folded back into Johnson, and then we'll settle it later. So fuck, a lot of confusing shit over here. So we got that going on. And then they had a discussion about discovery. And Zuffa apparently has not been forthcoming with the discovery. They had some problems. The judge made it very clear if Zuffa, the UFC does, or even Endeavor on their part, the part that they're requested, do not submit to discovery. He's going to have a deadline. Actually got rid of the deadline because everybody came to agreement that they're going to do discovery. But if by the next time they have a hearing and he hears that there's problems with discovery, he talked, especially amongst the executives, the top people that they're asking them to hand over information. If he's talking about bringing them in, putting them on the stand, putting them under oath, and asking them what they've shared or not shared. So they got a little serious there for a moment, but the UFC attorneys promise that yes, they will engage in discovery, and there's all these other issues involved. Too complex for us mortals to understand, and they will submit something to the judge. So there's that going on as well. So right now it looks like Johnson case is going to progress with the arbitration agreements as part of it. They're going to ask for discovery. They're going to challenge the arbitration agreements as the judge requested, who I should note too, the judge was very happy. As he pointed out, I was not happy originally when I saw this request to remove the fighters' arbitration agreements from the case, but I was not aware of, that you're going to file this Misha Serkinov case. So I was happy you did. He also said, do you have any other antitrust complaints you plan on filing? Because it would be good to get them out of the way now. They said they'll let them know. So maybe there's another one in the future. I doubt it, but maybe. But so the Serkinov case will be part of the Johnson case. They might need more additional plaintiffs to sign on to fill the various roles if they're going to splint off some of these cases. That's the other issue. It is conceivable, for whatever reason, if Davis potentially doesn't have standing, that they'll need another fighter to sign on to take his place. So, fighters listening, if you are happy with this progressing, someone else might have to step forward besides the guys here, because not only do they, potentially need someone for Davis' case, they might need another fighter for Misha, to represent if they're going to keep Misha as a separate case, they might need someone with an arbitration agreement to also sign on to the Johnson case. So, I don't know how many fighters that want to be plaintiffs they have in their back pocket. But if they have none, they might need a few to step forward. So there's that as well. So right now, case progresses, as Johnson, we are going to get a motion to dismiss in a couple weeks for the Davis case, see what goes on with that. And after that, we will see, I guess discovery will start, and then we progress from there. So that's the big news. Nothing super exciting, except for the fist fight that broke out in the court that only me and Paul Gift witnessed. So don't ask anybody else if it really happened or not. So that's it. That's my update from the court. I'm going to get out of it started frickin' raining in the desert here in Vegas. Perfect timing. So I'm going to get out of the rain. That's the end.